Hey everyone, welcome back to Storytime Central. Before we begin, if you love dramatic family drama stories, hit that subscribe button because trust me, today's story is absolutely insane. So, my name is Priya, I'm 28 years old, and I need to tell you about the absolute nightmare that my mother-in-law put me through. But here's the twist. She got exactly what she deserved, and I made sure the entire family witnessed her downfall. Let me take you back to 3 years ago when I first met my husband, Arjun. He was everything I ever wanted. Kind, successful, handsome, and most importantly, he treated me like a queen. We met through mutual friends at a wedding, and honestly, it felt like a Bollywood movie. The chemistry was instant, the connection was real, and within 6 months, we were engaged. Now, during our courtship, I met his mother. She seemed pleasant, maybe a little cold, but I thought she was just being protective of her only son. She would smile at me during family dinners, ask me questions about my job as a marketing executive, and even complimented my cooking once. I thought, okay, this isn't so bad. I can work with this. Oh, how naive I was. The wedding was beautiful. A 3-day extravaganza with 500 guests. Everything was perfect. The decorations, the food, the ceremonies. But looking back now, I remember small moments that should have been red flags, like when Savita insisted on choosing my wedding sari, and when I politely suggested I wanted to pick my own. She threw a fit and didn't talk to anyone for 2 days, or when she accidentally spilled red wine on my favorite dress during the engagement party. But I ignored these signs because I was in love, and Arjun kept assuring me that his mother just needed time to adjust. After the wedding, Arjun and I moved into a beautiful apartment in the city. It was our own space, our sanctuary. For the first 6 months, life was absolutely perfect. We would cook together, watch movies, travel on weekends, and build our life together. But then, disaster struck. Arjun's father passed away suddenly from a heart attack. It was devastating for everyone, especially for Savita. At the funeral, she clung to Arjun, crying and saying she couldn't live alone in that big house with all those memories. And that's when Arjun made the decision that would change everything. Priya, I know this isn't what we planned, but my mother can't be alone right now. What if she moves in with us, just for a few months until she adjusts? I looked into his grief-stricken eyes and couldn't say no. How could I? His father had just died, so I agreed, thinking it would be temporary. The first week was fine. Savita kept to herself, mourning her husband. I tried to be supportive, cooking her favorite meals, giving her space, checking in on her. But by the second week, things started to change. It started small. She would rearrange my kitchen while I was at work. Oh, I was just trying to make it more efficient, she'd say with a sweet smile. Then she started commenting on my cooking. This curry is too spicy. Arjun doesn't like it this way. Even though Arjun would tell her he loved my cooking, she'd ignore him. Then came the comments about my appearance. Are you putting on weight? Beta, you should exercise more. Or that dress is a bit too modern, don't you think? What will people say? But I tolerated it all because I knew she was grieving, and I wanted to be the bigger person. The real nightmare began about 3 months after she moved in. I started getting sick, really sick. Stomach cramps, nausea, vomiting, dizziness. At first, I thought it was just stress from work and having a live-in mother, but it kept happening, always after eating dinner at home. I went to the doctor multiple times. They ran tests, everything came back normal. Maybe it's IBS, one doctor suggested. Try managing your stress levels. But here's what was weird. I only felt sick after eating meals that Savita prepared. When I'd eat lunch at work, or when Arjun and I would order takeout, I felt fine. But I didn't make the connection, immediately because I didn't want to believe what my gut was telling me. One evening, I came home early from work with a terrible headache. I went straight to the bedroom to rest. About an hour later, I heard Savita in the kitchen, and I was about to get up to ask her if she needed help with dinner when I heard her on the phone. Yes, Mommy, I'm putting just a little bit each time. Not enough to really hurt her, just enough to make her sick. No, Arjun doesn't suspect anything. He thinks she has a sensitive stomach. I know, I know. But if she's always sick, eventually he'll realize she can't take care of him properly. Then he'll see he made a mistake marrying her instead of Neha. My blood ran cold. Neha was Arjun's ex-girlfriend, someone his mother had wanted him to marry. They had dated years ago before breaking up amicably. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My mother-in-law was poisoning me. Actually poisoning me. And not just that, she was doing it to make me look weak and incompetent so Arjun would leave me. I quietly took out my phone and started recording the conversation. She continued talking for another 5 minutes, detailing her entire plan to her mother, my husband's grandmother. I didn't confront her immediately. I knew I needed more evidence because if I accused her without proof, she'd deny everything and I'd look like the crazy paranoid daughter. So I became a detective in my own home. First, I stopped eating anything Savita cooked. I'd make excuses. Oh, I ate a big lunch, or I'm fasting for health reasons, or I'm doing a special diet my doctor recommended. She would get irritated. But she couldn't really argue, and guess what? Within 3 days, I felt completely better. No more stomach issues, no more nausea, no more dizziness. That was all the confirmation I needed. Next, I installed a hidden camera in the kitchen. Yes, in my own kitchen. I felt guilty about it, but I needed proof. And boy, did I get proof. The camera caught her adding something to my food while cooking. She'd wait until she thought no one was watching. Then she'd take out a small bottle from her purse and add a few drops to whatever she was preparing for me. She'd stir it carefully, taste it to make sure it wasn't too obvious, and then serve it with a smile. I took the footage to a lawyer friend who advised me to also get the substance tested. So one day, when Savita went out for her weekly temple visit, I searched her room. I found the bottle hidden in her closet behind her clothes. It was a bottle of castor oil mixed with some kind of laxative enough to make someone violently ill, but not enough to kill them or leave obvious traces in medical tests. I photographed everything, took a sample, and had it tested by a private lab. The results confirmed what I already knew. Now I had evidence, recordings, video footage, lab reports, everything. I could have gone to the police, but honestly, I wanted something better. I wanted her to be exposed in front of the entire family, to be humiliated the way she'd been trying to humiliate me. So I planned a family dinner. I told Arjun I wanted to host a dinner for his entire extended family, all his aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone. It's been so long since we've all been together, and I want to show my appreciation for everyone's support during this difficult time with Dad's passing. Arjun loved the idea. Savita seemed pleased too, probably thinking it was another opportunity to show everyone how weak and incompetent I was. I spent 2 weeks planning. I invited everyone, about 30 people total. I hired caterers, decorated the house beautifully, and made sure everything was perfect. But here's the twist. I also invited my own family, and I told my brother, who's a police officer, to be ready. The day of the dinner arrived. Everyone showed up dressed beautifully, excited for the evening. Savita was playing the perfect hostess, greeting everyone with her fake sweet smile, accepting compliments about how well she was doing after her husband's death. We had appetizers, drinks. Everyone was mingling and having a good time. Then it was time for dinner. I had arranged the seating so that Savita was at the head of the table, right next to me. Arjun was on my other side. The entire family was gathered around this long table, talking, laughing, enjoying the food. After the main course, I stood up and tapped my glass to get everyone's attention. Thank you all so much for coming tonight. Family means everything to me, and I'm so grateful to be part of this wonderful family through my marriage to Arjun. Everyone smiled and raised their glasses. Savita was beaming, probably thinking I was about to praise her. However, there's a reason I called you all here tonight. I need to share something very important with all of you, and I want you all to witness this. The room went quiet. Arjun looked at me confused. Savita's smile faltered slightly. I pulled out my laptop and connected it to the TV screen we had set up for showing family photos. For the past 3 months, I've been getting mysteriously sick. Stomach problems, nausea, vomiting. I went to multiple doctors, but no one could figure out what was wrong. Until I discovered the truth. I played the audio recording of Savita's phone conversation first. Her voice filled the room, clear as day, talking about poisoning me, making me sick, hoping Arjun would leave me. The room exploded in shocked gasps and exclamations. Savita's face went white. She stood up. This is fake. This is... Wait, there's more, I said calmly. Then I played the video footage from the kitchen camera, showing her adding the substance to my food, looking around to make sure no one saw, stirring it in carefully. Now everyone was staring at her in horror. Arjun looked like he'd been punched in the stomach. His aunts and uncles were murmuring in disbelief. And finally, I said, pulling out the lab reports. Here are the test results from the substance I found hidden in her room. A mixture of castor oil and laxatives. Enough to make someone very sick. But not enough to show up clearly in standard medical tests. Savita tried to speak, but nothing came out. She tried to deny it, saying I had fabricated everything. That I was trying to frame her. But the evidence was overwhelming and undeniable. Arjun stood up, his face a mixture of rage and heartbreak. Mom, how could you? How could you do this to my wife? To our family, his favorite aunt, who had always been very traditional and family-oriented, started crying. Savita, this is beyond anything I could imagine. You poisoned your own daughter. For what? Because she wasn't your choice. Savita finally broke down. I just wanted what was best for Arjun. Priya isn't right for him. Neha would have been better. I was just trying to show him. Show him WHAT, Arjun shouted. That you're a criminal. That you're willing to hurt someone I love. That you're completely insane. My brother, the police officer, stood up. Mrs. Savita Sharma, I'm placing you under arrest for attempted poisoning and assault. You have the right to remain silent. The dinner party ended in chaos. Some family members left immediately, too shocked to even say goodbye. Others stayed, apologizing to me profusely, saying they had no idea that they would have stopped her if they knew. Arjun's grandmother, Savita's own mother who had been on the phone during that recorded conversation, was also questioned. She admitted she knew, but thought her daughter was just trying to protect her son. She faced charges as an accessory. Savita was formally charged with attempted poisoning. The case made local news. Daughter-in-law exposes mother-in-law poisoning plot at family dinner. The story went viral on social media. She spent 3 months in jail before getting bail. During the trial, more evidence came out. Apparently, she had done similar things to Arjun's previous girlfriends. Though nothing as severe as poisoning, she'd spread rumors, sabotage relationships, manipulate situations. It was a pattern of controlling behavior. The court found her guilty. She received a 2-year prison sentence, though she only served 8 months due to her age and first offense status. But the real punishment was the social ostracization. In our community, reputation is everything. She became known as the mother-in-law who poisoned her. Daughter-in-law no one wanted to associate with her. Arjun was devastated. He blamed himself for not seeing the signs, for not protecting me, for not believing me when I first mentioned I always felt sick. After his mother's cooking, we went to couples therapy to work through the trauma. I should have chosen you over her from the beginning, he told me one night, crying. I should have seen what she was doing. You were grieving your father, I said. She manipulated your grief. This isn't your fault. It took time, but we healed. Our relationship actually became stronger because we faced this nightmare together and came out the other side. It's been 2 years since that dinner. Savita was released from prison about 18 months ago. She lives alone now in a small apartment on the other side of the city. Arjun meets her once a month for coffee, but I've never seen her again and have no plans to. She's written me several letters apologizing, saying she was mentally unstable from grief, that she wasn't thinking clearly, that she hopes someday I can forgive her. I haven't responded to any of them. Some people might think I should be more forgiving, but you know what? She tried to poison me. She deliberately put harmful substances in my food with the intent to make me sick and ruin my marriage. That's not something you just forgive and forget. The extended family has been incredibly supportive. They've made it clear that they're on our side, that what Savita did was unforgivable. Some of them have cut her off completely. Arjun and I are doing great now. We moved to a new apartment, a fresh start with no bad memories. I got a promotion at work. We're even talking about starting a family. Though I'm admittedly nervous about that, given everything that happened. The most important thing I learned from this experience is to trust your instincts. I knew something was wrong. My body was telling me something was wrong. But I second-guessed myself because I didn't want to believe someone could be that cruel. If you're in a situation where something feels off, investigate it. Don't ignore red flags. Don't make excuses for toxic behavior, even if it's coming from family. So many people have asked me if I regret exposing her the way I did. Couldn't you have handled it privately? Did you have to humiliate her in front of everyone? And my answer is always the same, yes. I absolutely had to expose her publicly. Here's why. First, if I had confronted her privately, she would have denied it, manipulated Arjun, and probably gotten away with it. She might have even escalated her behavior. Public exposure ensured accountability. Second, the family needed to know. They needed to know what kind of person she really was behind that sweet mother-in-law facade. They needed to know so they could protect themselves and their own children from her manipulation. Third, and most importantly, I needed to reclaim my power. For months, she had made me feel weak, sick, and helpless. That dinner was me taking back control of my life and my narrative. Some people think I was too harsh. They say she's an old woman who lost her husband and wasn't thinking clearly. To those people I say, she was thinking clearly enough to hide the poison, to carefully add it to only my food, to time it perfectly so no one would see, to lie convincingly for months. That takes planning and intention. I don't celebrate her downfall. I don't take joy in the fact that she went to prison, but I also don't feel guilty about it. She made her choices, and she faced the consequences. For anyone dealing with a toxic mother-in-law or any toxic family member, here's my advice. 1. Document everything. Keep a journal, take photos, record conversations if legal in your area. 2. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. 3. Don't suffer in silence. Talk to your partner. Get them on your side. 4. Set boundaries early and stick to them firmly. 5. Don't be afraid to cut toxic people out of your life, even if they're family. 6. Remember that you don't owe anyone access to you, especially people who hurt you. As for Arjun and me, we're stronger than ever. We've learned that our marriage comes first, before parents, before extended family, before anyone. We're a team, and we protect each other. Sometimes at night, I think about that dinner, about the looks on everyone's faces when they saw the evidence. Part of me wishes it never happened, that I had a normal, loving mother-in-law. But another part of me is glad I stood up for myself, that I didn't let her get away with it. Life is too short to let toxic people poison it, literally or figuratively. Thank you all for listening to my story. If you've made it this far, please hit that like button and subscribe for more dramatic true stories. And if you have your own mother-in-law horror story, drop it in the comments. Trust me, you're not alone. Remember, your health and safety always come first. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for protecting yourself. Until next time, this is Storytime Central, reminding you to stay safe and trust your gut.